Well, let's take a look now at the markets on the continent, and starting in East Africa. If we're looking at the NSE yesterday, of course in Kenya at the moment, all eyes on the election, and the market emphasis will also be on that election. But yesterday the NSE at 4510, down 0.18% on the month, still higher up on the year, and the shilling 85.3, down 0.8 yesterday. Let's take a look now in more detail at the Kenya market with Brenda Kithinji, who is research analyst at Standard Investment Bank. Good morning, Brenda. Perhaps just let's start, before we look at a couple of the shares, with an overview of how the market has been behaving in the last few days with all eyes on that election.
Well, the last time the market traded was actually Friday. Yesterday was a public holiday, as many people went out to vote and choose their political leaders. So last week the market was strong. We didn't see any sell-off. A lot of the counters remained strong because we saw a lot of companies continue to announce their full-year earnings, their half-year earnings, and that was largely what impacted trading in the stock market. The shilling remains strong, so we didn't see foreign selling off the market. Trading was as usual.
Okay, let's look at a couple of those shares there. Stanbic comes to mind. We've talked quite a lot about the banks in the Kenyan economy recently. Stanbic pre-tax profit up 64% in 2012. That's an unusual rise.
Yeah, Stanbic really performed strongly. Earnings were high, and a lot of this was driven by their non-interest income. We saw their fees and commission, their forex trading income come up really strongly. And this just goes to show the bank's strategy in moving away from just relying on their interest income in towards non-interest income. And even in addition to that, moving towards personal banking as opposed to be purely a corporate banking bank.
Also, growth driven by new customers. Kenya relatively underbanked still, so new customers, and also increased trade. So the balance of income is beginning to change, isn't it?
It is beginning to change. We're seeing a lot of new customers. Like for CFC Stanbic, like you said, they've been moving away from corporate banking, from being a purely corporate banking bank to also doing personal banking and trying to tap into the middle income class and also the lower income class. And that also helped them increase their customer numbers. And you're saying, yeah, income is shifting. We're seeing a lot of non-interest revenue supporting bottom line growth.
Let's move across to another big company, that's BAT, British American Tobacco in Kenya. Dividend increased by 6.56. It's a big company, good steady, generally in the globe, good steady income from dividends. And in Nairobi in particular, on that exchange, the investors do like the dividends. Yeah,
a lot of investors do like dividend yielding stocks, high dividend yielding stocks, and British American is one of them. They're paying out a dividend of about 32.75 Kenya shillings, so which is a really high payout, and investors are very excited about that. And overall, I think it's good to know that BAT actually performed better than what most people had expected. People didn't expect such strong growth in revenue. I mean, we expect a bit of a decline in revenue, especially because of the export market, but they actually outperformed the expectations. So we think investors are going to be keen on taking up that stock, and we'll still see strong interest on BAT.
You say investors would be keen on taking it up. However, it is the most expensive stock on the exchange. So that old equation between a good company which keeps delivering good results, the value becomes an issue, because even if they do sustain that, you have to get in at a quite expensive rate.
Yeah, well, in terms of pricing, it is one of the highly priced stocks in the market. But in terms of value, like you said, and in terms of consistent earnings and predictable earnings and dividend performance, it will be the stock that will give you what you're looking for in terms of those two. So I think either way, we're still seeing investors, and largely foreign investors, coming in and buying that stock strongly despite its high price.
Well, and another company we talk about a lot is Safaricom. It's exposed to some of those structural changes in the Kenyan economy. Now the most valuable stock on the market since East African Breweries' share price dropped. Safaricom
has actually gotten a lot of demand in the past few days. We had seen it come down a bit, I think a few weeks ago, but now investors started gaining new interest in the stock, and they started trying to accumulate the stock. So I think fortunes are still strong for Safaricom. We still expect them to continue delivering strong earnings, largely from M-Pesa and the new innovations around mobile banking.